All right. What's going on, everybody? Hope your day is going well. It is Wednesday, October 1st. We got a brand new month. And back at it. Back at our Wednesday closing bell show. Uh, just a heads up, I've got to watch the baby today while my wife goes to take care of her mother. So you might hear some baby noises in the background. I'm going to do my best to try to keep him as quiet as possible. He's got a bottle right now and he's just rolling around in his little cart, but I may disappear from stream for just a little moment if I do have to go take care of him. We're just going to keep an eye on the flow today, go over some of the charts that you guys might request, discuss a little bit about what's been going on in our Discord. I do want to show you guys. Oh, there's the baby. We want to show you guys in our channels, in our STAX 1K challenge channel. We are doing a 1K challenge, and as of today, our account has basically doubled. We're still hovering around anywhere from 90 to 95% right now. We had a call out last week, which technically, I will admit, broke a little bit of our original rule where we want to take 3 months out. But this mRNA print that we saw came in so heavy, I just could not ignore it. We saw a lot of calls last week on the 25th for today, or this Friday, 10:03, 27.5, 25.5, 28.5. These ones are obviously for just last week though, and went and bought 10 of those contracts, 30 cents each, so $300 total of those. They did drop as much as 50%. All right, full disclosure, 50% yesterday, but it recovered back to about 16% down. What we noticed was our Wave X flow showed that we were still heavily bullish on this name. And especially at the end of the day, you saw a lot of puts being sold, millions and millions of dollars of puts being sold. And so, going into the close, we were down on that position. These BBAI calls, we already took profits on more than half the position, so we're just letting these ride out. American Airlines and Grab are currently down. We will discuss about averaging down on those in a little bit. But this morning, we saw the position for mRNA pop over 100% right at open. At the highs of today, we saw it well over 200%. Let me find that screenshot. 253% here. I slowly cut different parts of that position as it went up. If we had held the whole thing, this account would definitely be over $2,000 already at this point. As of right now, it's kind of come back down. I just have one runner that's being held, but just want to let you guys know in our 1K challenge, we've basically almost doubled that position as of now. Real quick too, I know this week basically Nike earnings was yesterday. Aside from that, we really don't have anything else to go over in terms of earnings for this week. We'll get into the next quarter's cycle very, very soon. In our club profits, we got a lot of people showing off their profits. We made, NorCal dude here made almost $6 grand off of that mRNA call. Sugar Mama took home almost 40K right there. We got a 200% here, $381, 145%, $680. Combined here, I believe that should just be $316 right there. mRNA again, another G and a half, another 500% here, 250% there. So just want you guys to know, we follow the STAX flow. STAX has been put together so that you guys can see, and again, you don't have to trade blindly. That's the thing. These calls 460%. Plenty of profits to share with you guys over the course of today. getting a 30-40% winner overnight is already great, but seeing these, multiple, 160%, 150% here, 254%. Again, it's just STAX leading the way. What I do in my channel, I do my best to try to share with you what it is that I see and help you guys out in finding these types of positions. Today's going to be pretty chill. We've got, 40 minutes till close. We're going to try to see if there's anything else that sticks out to us today. I already did go over. This is one way that I do go and try to find what is, bullish or bearish throughout the day. We're just going to go here. We're going to go to our flow scanner, filter for today, and get an idea of where the money's flowing. All right. I will say I've noticed a lot of NVIDIA calls. NVIDIA is still looking strong. It is breaking out of its channel. Retest or not, I think it is headed up higher in time. They've got a lot of money, a lot of cash to deploy, so it is very possible that we might see them announce additional partnerships or additional things that, people that they're going to be working with. Gold GLD, it's a slow mover, but $40 million of calls to less than 500K of puts. Tesla, $23 million of calls to about $4 million of puts. That's pretty strong too. SPY, I will point out, anytime we see new all-time highs, which we are making right now, even with our government shutdown, SPY, $20 million of puts to $4 million calls. Somebody asked, why does my Discord look different? There are certain settings that you can set up. I made it so that there's less spaces between the channels and things that it's like a compact look for it. Hold on real quick. Baby found some dog food dropped on the ground. We're gonna hold on to the baby for a little as we say hi. This is Theo. He is about 8 months old right now, crawling everywhere and getting into everything. So I don't know. Here, Billy starts fussing. Quick thing too as well. I know I see 19 of you guys watching. I know some of you guys are from my Discord, from STAX, from TraderLink, maybe even Invest IQ. Go ahead, let me know where you're coming from. That way I get an idea who's here in our stream watching. All right, back to the flow. MicroStrategy, $15 million of calls, but I will say MicroStrategy, when it really does move, I see a much bigger number for that. Silver, a little bit bearish. I don't know. That's nothing too major in terms of that swing. Meta, fairly even though it shows green. That's basically 7.5 to 7.5 mil. QQQ looking bearish. IWM looking bearish. But again, as we make those new all-time highs, it's very likely that this is just them hedging against some bigger positions. MU, we saw a big pop today. Intel, we saw some news come in today. 6 million right there. TMO, no puts there. $6 million of calls. Take a look at that. Oracle looking bearish here. I think it did pop a little bit, but I think it's probably relaxed back down from there. Amazon, even. BABA, I did mention in our Discord stream earlier today, we should see BABA starting to break out of its certain consolidation pattern. We probably will see a little bit higher for some of these Chinese names soon. Apple, more bearish than bullish. NVO, Novo Nordisk. I did pull up that chart earlier. We'll do it again here today. About $5 million of calls to no puts. But let's not chew on those cords. SoFi, a little bit more bullish than bearish. Palantir, little bit more puts, but not much. Spotify, J&J. I will say those two actually look good. Whenever I see a lot of calls and 0 puts, that's always something to consider. IBIT, which is the Bitcoin ETF, more bearish than bullish. Netflix, interesting. We see some more calls than puts for Netflix. Right now, they're going through some controversy with one of their shows. One of the creators of the shows um, had some things to say about Charlie Kirk, apparently, and ultimately, people are retaliating against it. Broadcom, bearish, AMD. AMD and Intel had some they're apparently in talks for AMD to use the Intel foundry. Certainly just a rumor at this point, but we saw Intel pop because of it. BSTC, Citibank, Coinbase, XP. All right, you guys can see there. Nike, a little bit of bullishness, but they reported earnings yesterday. Their numbers are good, but the price of the stock barely moved. I think it moved like 2% or something like that. So nothing crazy. FLUT, this one's an interesting one. We saw some STAX AI calls come out for that earlier today, so that is something to consider. Pfizer with their Trump RX deal that they're going to be working with, looks like they've already moved a little bit. So you guys can understand this current administration. They've a lot of traders talk about how every administration the market trades a little bit different, and you can understand today with what's going on with Trump. It comes down to tweets. It comes down to news. Things are actually very volatile and move very quickly. But STAX has done a really good job over the last few months, especially on sniffing out what's going on behind closed doors. CoreWeave, QUBT, RKT Rocket. We see KWeb over here. So there's still some money flowing in right now. You would expect that with the government shutdown, there's a little bit more fear coming into the markets, but I will say, looks like it's business as usual. If there is going to be a dip, I kind of expect it to be bought up. Do me a favor, you guys that are watching, help me out here. Last time we had about, I think, 15 people hit the like button, hit that thumbs up button for me on YouTube. It just helps me out. It's a small thing you guys can do to help us out with the stream. We're not monetized or anything, but we're trying to get this pushed out to as many people as possible so they can come join and see what STAX is all about. In addition, if you do want this STAX software, it does come with a bit of our Discord as well. You can always go to the link below, investorcentralclub.com/memberships. There is a code right now, ClosingBell20, which is the name of our show. Get 20% off your subscription to STAX. Give me one sec as Max joins. Baby is headed toward the water bowl. Give me one sec.
There we go.
What's up, Max?
What up? That was like the first, I ordered coffee and left it in my DoorDash cart this morning, and like I hadn't eaten anything all day, so I was just like, I gotta get something in me because I was like, I feel tired, and then I was like, oh, I haven't eaten a single thing all day. Probably explain why.
Yeah, just went over Flow Scanner. Talked a little bit about the profits that we've seen today with mRNA. Talked about our 1K challenge. I'm gonna pull up some of our charts. If you notice anything on STAX on your end, Max, go ahead, let me know. We can always pull that up as it goes.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Looks like Intel. I think Intel, we should definitely see it retest this recent high that we made today. This is based upon the move that happened from that AMD news. I think we're going to see a little bit higher. We saw a lot of flow come in. I think we will retest the previous high of this 36.29, possibly break up above that. I mean, this is a very news-based ticker right now, and I think it's definitely headed up in time. I talked about Alibaba. Looks like we're retesting these recent highs. If you look at the big picture, I've had this charted for a while. Guys, I mean, it's clear as day. This is called a Wyckoff accumulation pattern. I talk about this all the time in our Discord. Looks exactly like the diagram and the drawing that we see over here. little things that you want to see in this. On the left side of the range, where we have the preliminary supply, the selling climax. Selling climax is always going to be marked with the biggest amount of volume here. An automatic reaction. Selling climax to automatic reaction create the range that we're in. But on the left side of the range, what you'll notice is these candles tend to be pretty big, right? You notice that the size of these candles, the movements are very quick, very strong, large price ranges are being accepted, and it pushes back and forth and takes out a lot of liquidity on both ends. And what you notice on the right side of this range is that a lot of those candles start to get very small. They start to get very choppy. All right. The movements are smaller and smaller. And once we do break above the downtrend, we start to see retests of certain trend lines. All right. But we do continue to make higher lows along the way up here, you may see. And as we go up higher, we have these last points of supply, the buy-ups. The movements start to get bigger and more volatile until we go ahead and we break out of the range and finally out above and retest previous supplies and demands from outside of that range. So this, guys, if you go look at any chart, I always use Boeing as the example. This chart has been happening since before we even had computers. Boeing's chart has this type of pattern happen. If you go look at, I would say this year, Palantir was a very good example. It's happening with SoFi. We saw it happen with Carvana going higher. So understand, it happens all the time. Make sure that you take a look at this pattern and start to recognize when it's developing. SOC, TGT, Microsoft, PayPal, Plug. Okay, I like a lot of those. Let's go ahead and talk about those. What's up, printing tendies? The man, the myth, the legend. Let's go in here. SOC. Only one for today, but I will say it's been strong. They're aiming for October. They're aiming for a little bit of November. This $35 strike for November would be a decent one. I don't love the premium is only 81K, but with all this flow coming in, it's pretty strong. Price actually has dropped from about $22, went up to 24 almost, and now it's back down dropped down towards 17, and now is back up at about 20. Take a look over at what TradingView shows for SOC. Pretty sure I drew a bunch of these as just gaps that needed to be filled. We do see some volume coming. This pushed back up pretty hard, so it came down, tested this lower end right here. Popped right off of it. And if you kind of look back all the way over here, that was a previous resistance and a high right here. So with all that volume coming in, I definitely think this should probably be headed back up. We've seen it oversold on these ranges as well. I've always marked this off for you guys here. Anytime my stochastic shows oversold, go see what happens with the chart. I mean, sometimes it's a small move, sometimes it's going to be a bigger move, but at the very least, it's going to bounce from that range. And so that's exactly what we saw here. We definitely could go higher. We're going to want to see this uptrend that we broke down from, see if we reclaim it. If we're able to close back above this, we definitely can see it come back up higher. Probably retest this gap right here is a very good possibility. Yeah, this for Friday, 2 mil. I mean, obviously this already moved up from there. It dropped a little bit, moved back up. 17.5, they're in the money, so they're a little bit safer in that case. October 17th, $30 calls. It is, I mean, look at this. They're expecting over 100% move on these. I mean, obviously this one for 2027 has plenty of time, but this one for November, $35 strike for November is still, even from today, a 75% move up. So I would say that definitely raises an eyebrow. Okay? Definitely raises. I'm going to take this and screenshot it for our channels. That way people can have a conversation about it. Give me 1 second. And while that happens, I will also let WaveX see what's going on in here too.
It looks like with SOC, the catalyst is dependent on oil rigs opening in California.
WaveX is looking strong. WaveX is definitely looking strong. We might want to take a position in our 1K challenge on this one. Take a look in a So, just so you guys that are new to WaveX, what is happening here is it is the total calls being plotted up against the puts. Buys are going to move it up. Sells are going to move it down. In this situation, you've got puts being sold, which is also a bullish signal. And then you have a lot of calls being purchased. It's already moved price up quite a bit today. But it is a sign that there still probably is more to come from it. SOC today is already up 15%. Damn, that's nuts. All right, next one. Hold on, let me see real quick. Is there... Man, if we caught this earlier, 55 cents, that's already up like, 50, 60%. Jeez. Target. Only puts came in today. Let's see what WaveX has to say. Sometimes we'll see some more in there. Let me pull up the chart too. All over the place, but see, you had puts dominating up till here. Puts dominating, you'll see it on the bottom here where it's all red. We saw price already go down. It came and started to recover. Calls and puts had a little bit of a battle. Right now, calls are winning out. So we have seen price kind of recover from those you know, where you see these green arrows show up, show that calls started to win out. Price went from 88.52 now to about 89.16. Let's look at the chart. I know the chart has been somewhat showing that we're on the lower end of this. I want you guys to keep an eye out for these types of situations. I will say in the past, when I first started trading, you know, I would look at this, be like, oh my god, it's so far down, you know, it's bearish, it's going to go down further, I don't want to lose my money on getting on this. But on a good company like Target, guys, everybody shops at Target. I don't know who doesn't go to Target. It's either that or Walmart. You usually have one or the other that you're, you know, generally going to. And we are basically at this previous, that was a resistance, now is acting as support. Bounced off of it, 1, 2. Very likely we're going to see a third bounce here. We might see it dip below, but you got to also remember there's all these buyers and sellers over here that are going to look at this and say, you know what? I saw this run up all the way over here. Now that it's back to a price that I, you know, got into before, I want more of it. And so there's going to be buyers that very likely step back in. On the weekly, where I got to move it over so you guys see. On the weekly, oversold. What happens when you see it oversold, especially on the chart? Very likely we see a bounce here. So Target, definitely, I wouldn't go all, you know, always never go all in, but I would at least look at the position and say there is definitely a probability to the upside right now. So might be a good position to consider here. I would look at it also as, I like to look for what STAX has to say. The calls that they have here, you know, December of 2026, January of 2026. Do we see any big money? Oh, we see some unusualness, but that's from a long time ago. So, you know, one thing is if you see some really unusual positions come in or you see big money starting to buy as well, That would probably be your signal to consider getting into target here. Microsoft. Not a ton today. And these strikes aren't that far away. But one for the end of the week, one for the end of next week. Something might be brewing. Let's see what WaveX has to say. All right, WaveX definitely showing some more bearishness as of right now. All right, so that's where I would look at it and say, okay, we went from $4 million of puts, $31 million of calls. They sold off those calls and they've flipped it to puts. So I would say as of right now, let's peek over at the chart. Get the baby too. Well, it's because you're drinking your bottle upside down. You can't get milk that way, buddy. If it breaks up above this level, I definitely think, but these people might be pushing it down up at the top over here. I definitely could see a little bit of a pullback at least. Pullback wouldn't be unwarranted, but I would say maybe worst case for this right now. There's still a lot of momentum. Might see it come back down, retest this previous resistance. There is also a possibility we could see this break up above and then get pushed back down before we head back up. So. Okay. Theo's back. All right, next one, PayPal. Ooh, I like PayPal. Ooh, there we go. Alibaba just broke up above those highs. So, do we see it rocket off? I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more news about Alibaba coming in soon too. Let's go back to STAX. At PayPal. I like PayPal. I get paid through PayPal. November 21st, $80 strike. Those are fairly cheap. 19, almost 20% move from there is expected. Premium is only 90K, so it's not the most. But kind of mixed over the course of this last week. But I will say there's more activity coming in right now. Let that load. Pull up the chart. PayPal looks kind of beat up, but it also has Wyckoff characteristics to it. Not the prettiest. I'll show you, but I think it is possibly headed up. Probably not the best entry right now is what WaveX is telling me. Looks like there's probably still a little bit of bearishness that needs to be dealt with before it does head up. But on my trading view, I will show you. I've had this charted for a while. There are Wyckoff characteristics to it. It is at, I would probably say, this area right here, the last point of supply, where if you want to accumulate this for the longer run, we definitely could see this back up over 90, maybe over 100. Question is when. It could be 2027. It could be a little bit later. Best case scenario, obviously it pops earlier. But as of right now, I would say maybe come back down to the trend line before we see a pop up higher, is what I'm thinking. So, oh, we are down already at the trend line. So maybe we're going to peak down below it and retest. There is this gap up above here too, so one of those longer term holds, especially just the way, I mean, you know, you've got all these other payment companies, but I do believe like PayPal was the originator of all of that stuff to begin with. So
that
Plug. Let's go check out Plug.
Plug's WaveX is crazy.
See some calls being bought today. I mean, it's a $2 stock. This is something that's perfect for our 1K challenge in reality. 19 cents per contract here. The March $3 strike, 79 cents. Let's see what WaveX says. Ooh, bullish.
That's what I
Bullish.
was saying. If you look at
Bullish.
at 11:32 this morning, we just see this mini spike, and then at 11:41, just a Grinch,
This
just
one,
Mr. Grinch came to town.
this one is being shared in my channel as we. Good eye printing tendies. I like that. Okay. I would not go with the Friday ones. These ones have already made their money. They're definitely already up. They are in the money as well. These March 20th $3 strikes are definitely very tempting. I'm gonna pull up let's pull up the chart real quick before we decide to get in. Oh yes, one of these where it's all the way down. Hold on one sec. Kyle, you do not need to. Like from you ever watch The League? Child forever unclean. Forever unclean.
As long as he doesn't eat the ice chips out of the urinal, he'll be fine.
Plug, guys, I like it. This week is one of the highest volumes that you've ever seen for plug power. So those March, as we say this, those March calls, let's see how much they're trading for. We're gonna buy some contracts on our 1K challenge right now. Give me one sec. They've moved pretty hard, but we're gonna look at that March $3 calls. They're trading at anywhere between 79 to 84. If they got in at 79, I'm gonna grab 5 contracts to start. We're gonna aim
plug?
for, yeah.
I like those yeah, I like the 320s actually. Yeah, I'd go 320.
So
And then a lotto would be like the 2.5s for the week.
actually, I'm looking at the 3.5 call right now, and
Yeah.
there's 28,000 open interest. So I'm buying that one instead. IV's kind of high, but that's fine. We're gonna buy.
We just want to make sure that OI is increasing over the next couple months, hopefully.
OI 65 cents, 5 contracts. My order. Didn't get filled yet, so we'll see if it does. Where's on it? Alright, I'll let you know. If it doesn't fill by in the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna move my order up a little bit. Real quick, Intel looks like just popped. Is it higher or lower? Yeah, it went higher.
Intel's about to turn into the new GameStop.
Well, it's got the government behind it, so you know.
Yeah, it's because it's the only chip that's made in America. It's not by choice. It's not by choice. It's by force. That's why you have Nvidia dumping billions into American companies so they can evade that China tax. Because even China was like, Nvidia goes, "We'll build you a cheaper chip," and China was like, "We don't want that. What are you talking about? Like, we want." I still think the funniest thing is people who are like, Blackwell's not even going to be relevant by 2027, and I'm like, Blackwell's not even like relevant today because they've already rolled out a whole new, a whole new system at this point. But cool. But those are also the same people who think Chat GPT is like a real AI, or like any AI right now is actual AI.
All right, I just moved it up. I purchased that 69 cents. Let me
Is
post
that
it.
in our 1K?
Yeah, it's in our 1K challenge. I like that. I like it right now just because. Right there, but let's not get into that either.
Wow, 667 0-day calls, 1100% today. Crazy. Crazy day on indexes.
All right.
Ooh, we just had a big AMD print come through. 1017, 185 calls, 1.04 million dropped, $4 per contract, bought 10,000 contracts against only 7,000 open interest.
Well, so with the AMD pop, what was really interesting was we saw the news come in and then it dropped right back automatically. So here you see the volume down below here, this volume here. We saw the news hit about Intel and AMD, and then it came right back down. So you probably would have had another entry there. Looks like it's going to retest today's previous highs, and very likely we should see it start to move up higher afterwards. Especially with STAX showing that additional. Oh, we even see more AMD more Intel coming in for the 17th. Yeah, this AMD call right here, 1.04 million, 185. Man, that's a 13% move in a little over 2 weeks. 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
17th.
Ugh, that's bold, Cotton.
Let's see if it pays
That's
off.
it's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if how that plays out for him. I just need Lisa to come out and be like, we're gonna be worth trillions of dollars. Just wait until our Q3 2026 conference call to find out how exactly, because I don't even think she knows how. But I like AMD. My first profit take would be like 165 with them.
Yeah.
Just because that was like the 165, like high 164s was the last like big sell-off point on the 5-minute. So that's kind of what I would look at, as like 164.80 was a huge peak, or 164.60, and then like 165 would be my
UNH is
like.
looking strong too right now.
Oh yeah,
Look at that. The
that
one thing, okay, the puts being sold is one thing. I'd like to see these calls go back above the $0 line though. So puts dropped off a cliff. Puts, there's $18 million of puts that were sold today for UNH. See what
same
it's
similar strikes.
on the chart. Oh, hey, what do you know? My charts weren't exactly perfect, but basically popped up from where I drew. This could have been a very quick Wyckoff accumulation. You might see it pop back up from already. See this as possibly a string. Didn't even really secondary test much. Even call these a secondary tests. Possibly this is your spring. Interesting. This would just be your automatic reaction right away. That's nuts. I also think with Warren Buffett in this, there's very little chance we see it come back down this far.
Yeah. Daddy Buffett is not taking a loss. Like after sitting on cash for like the most amount of cash he had in for like 4 months, basically. Next, oh wait,
Why is all financial dumping lately? SoFi. I mean, sometimes they move. Like I know SoFi has moved a lot. SoFi's
it's got to come back down at some
yeah, it's
point.
gotta they gotta take their profits at some point. So
You're not gonna, especially with a company like SoFi, where a lot of it is based on speculation versus like actual data at this point. Because yeah, they're getting all these positive things, but it's the same thing when an AI company comes out and goes, "We're going to be generative." It's like, okay, prove it. So
yeah,
that's kind of where banking's at this point. Is it's time for them to literally show the money.
and I would also say I think they're setting up for some better entries because at the end of the day, we are very likely going to have to turn the money printer back on. We're in
Yeah,
such debt. There's nowhere, as much as Trump wants to talk about how the tariffs are making us a bunch of money, it's not anywhere close to what we need in order to keep our government running. So we'll see what ends up happening, but it's very possible we'll take about 2 weeks to a month. Best case scenario, we do see some sort of resolution for the shutdowns by the end of the week, but I kind of doubt on it. I feel like they're going to hold pretty strong on it until later on. Um and then we will see some sort of resolution where they raise the debt ceiling as they always do. And from there we'll consider, and we'll start to see financials pump from there. Ooh, Corning Incorporated. Is this Corningware that makes all the glass? Well, if you drop your bottle, you're not going to be able to drink.
wait, what are we looking at? GLW.
Nothing new on GLW, but you do have these unusual prints, and they're definitely up at this point. I mean, just a little bit for these 919. February calls for $90. They still got some time. It's moving so strong right now. I think we definitely can see a little bit more for it. I don't see it at any specific resistance. It's already broken up. The next one probably at around 90, 92. Oh, how far back do I gotta go for this? Still not enough? Fine, buddy.
On the monthly chart with them, it looks like they were able to fill that gap at about 79, 79, 76, I want to say. Back that was the last big sell off was Monday, December 2nd of 2002.
Hmm.
And then it's just been kind of chilling around sub $20 at this, or it was chilling around sub 20, and then we saw a nice little jump back up. But I mean, it's back to levels from 23 years ago.
Yeah, QuantumScape QS looks like it's head back up. It should break above 14, almost $15 soon.
I can't wait
It'll
for the
re
quantum.
it'll retest and then go up higher.
I was gonna say I cannot wait for the quantum rug pull. It's gonna be beautiful. There's gonna be like 3 companies that survive, and then everyone's gonna be like, I swear they were next. So
American
it's gonna
Airlines. I've been in this one. It's showing that accumulation pattern. The bad part about this is right now with the shutdowns, airlines will be one of the ones that probably suffer a little bit. But once there is a resolution, I do think this should pop back up. I haven't averaged down in the 1K challenge on it yet. I averaged down in my own personal portfolio. I do have till November on these, so I probably will look to maybe average down one more time. It is so severely oversold at this point on the daily. Weekly is not quite there yet, but it is going. I do believe we will start to see some sort of bounce back on this in due time. LQDA. It just hasn't really made its move yet. Oh, child, get your hand out of the water bowl. This child crawls so fast right
wait till they start walking.
now. Yeah.
And then you'll be like,
Yeah.
dang, I wish I missed when you could just only crawl.
I already missed when I could just leave him on the couch and come back and he's still there.
Don't worry.
Yeah. 'Tis life. It'll be alright. LQDA. If it falls, it's got tilt down to like $20 to fall. Because there's like no volume in the middle right there. But I do still think it's probably going to curl back up. We are pretty oversold on this daily as well. So I think we're headed back up from there. I know there's a STAX AI print on this. But keep in mind that was also coupled with some puts that were also bought. So they were taking a spread on both sides. And the puts were heavier too. It's the first time I've seen that happen with the STAX AI print, where they only had that side of it. So wait till they start driving. He's in this little walker thing. It's this little cart that he rolls around in, and he's been like destroying my feet, just running into my feet over and over and over. What's the difference between my bottom volume and the right? So the bottom volume here is categorized by day or by the time frame. So the x-axis here, showing that, let's say right now I've got it on the daily. That's how much was purchased that day. Large volume generally shows that there was a lot of buying and selling that happened. On the right side, what you have is called volume profile. Profile helps you see what prices they were purchasing at, not just the time. So for example, where you see these large shelves basically show that there's a lot of people. Like one thing I think really resonates with some people right now is like, imagine this was the chart for a Pokemon card, like Charizard or something like that. What you can expect is that if the price of Charizard ever came down here, and this one is the highest volume node, which is $14.23. Let's just say that Pokemon card ever came back down to it, you can expect people to buy and sell it right away. People are going to be like, dude, I wanted that card when it was up at $30. I'm going to buy it as soon as it comes down to 14, $15. I'm purchasing because that's where the majority of buyers and sellers have been. So you can also imagine for it to come all the way down and break down through all this volume is going to be very tough. So I can say LQDA, very unlikely it's going to just break down below, right now, below 20 without some resistance. If it comes down back toward $15 ever, it's going to get snatched up. There's going to be buyers that want to come back into it. Okay? So for them to break through. Now it's called VRVP, Visible Range Volume Profile. So whatever is visible on my chart here gets calculated into it. So if I keep scrolling further back and showing everything, this is the historic volume of it. You can see that the most buys and sells happened at the very bottom. And that's very true of any sort of accumulation type of pattern, where all the big money did their best to buy as many as they could at this lower range. Let's see. Thought was like uranium. Yeah. Mining development company, exploration evaluation of uranium and vanadium properties. So for us to power all the AI data centers, we need to find alternative ways to generate electricity. So solar is not going to be enough. Wind, water, not enough. The next step, I do believe, is we will start to see more nuclear power being used. And nuclear power is actually fairly safe as long as the maintenance is done. We had, if you're familiar with San Diego has the 2 nuclear boobies. They did decommission them along the 5, but at the end of the day, I do think nuclear power is going to be more widely accepted in our generation. You also, in this chart, see a lot of volume coming in on the right. Obviously, with it running up so hard right now, it's hard to tell where it might stop. The only things you can kind of do is estimate with, there's Elliott wave theory, where kind of we see a 1, 2, 3. We might see a bigger pullback here and then higher. All right, babe. Hey, chill. You're cool. You're just hanging out. Somebody's tired. Somebody needs his nap. That's the way I look at it. All right. Yeah, uranium I think should be headed higher in time. All this volume being bought right here just shows that there is acceptance of it. And probably come back to retest. I think 19 is a solid possibility. Back up here, up at 22, 23. So you got a lot of levels above for it to come back to. Not going to just be a straight rocket ship up. It's going to take some time. But you can also see that we did have accumulation down here, reaccumulation on the right. So you had accumulation down here, reaccumulation in this range. So what we're looking for is, are we going to create a buying climax and then start to reaccumulate or possibly distribute? Or do we start to see it go a little bit higher and retest some of these higher ranges? I would say there's a good possibility we'll see it sell off a little bit before we head up higher. It is very severely overextended to that. STAX. I know we saw quite a bit of it recently too. Yeah, we saw a lot of unusualness, but it already popped up from it. So it popped up to like 18, 19 when they bought in at about 14, 15. Oh wait, no, this was just yesterday. Sorry. Huh? You tell me what WaveX says. I think there's definitely going to be a push up. I would be bullish on it. Fusion is making a push. I don't know anything on that at this point. But I'm sure Google just heard me say that. I'm sure I'll get some in the next couple days.
You'll see an Instagram ad and a Facebook ad and a TikTok ad for whatever you just said. So
they're listening.
Amount of times that happens to me.
See real quick. BE Bloom Energy. I'm gonna just tell you guys this. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but energy is the hot new commodity. Everybody's trying to get in on energy. Look at this. BE, same idea. Popped up higher. I know we saw something for this in STAX recently too. Yeah. Yesterday, bunch of buying. Saw some unusualness earlier. We saw some big money, millions of dollars being spent. Yeah, definitely flip more to bullish later on in the day today after it kind of chopped around. Yeah, it's just heading higher right now. Already broken higher from before. Basically had a retest. Man, this thing's moving strong. Imagine you got in June. This thing's up 300%.
That's crazy.
Only a 6% move today? That looks bigger than that. Last... Yeah. Volume bars are nice and big too. So... Definitely.
Fusion is making a push. Interesting.
I think we got through everything that... Let me know if I missed a ticker that you guys put in here. Let's just real quick peek back over at what came in end of day. XLF is our financials. Looks like they think it's bullish to the end of the month. Yeah, Pfizer, obviously we talked about. Intel, I think, could make another little push. Actually, let's peek over at that, see what the end of the day. Wave excellent. Oh, that's an ugly drop at the end of the day, though. A lot of people got out of their calls, I'd say. Who knows? Is it just a rumor? Or is it actually going to turn into news? I think I was seeing these jokes about how Intel's going to go be in discussions with Jesus and bring him on board. Like, they're talking to everybody right now.
I mean, at this point, they have to. I mean, everybody, if anybody knows me, you know my position on Intel. You need to figure out the 13 billion that 24% of your annual reoccurring revenue sector is currently bleeding you like a Russian girl that you ordered from a website. Like, it's just not. It is not. There's no reason. There's no technological advance that is going to make it a winner other than company like another reason it pushed up is MU's going to start dealing with it more, and that's why it popped on MU earnings, because what's his name, the CEO, came out and was like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to start dealing with like mid-tier and behind the ball companies basically to help them put out better laptops in a sense, like from a because their consumer area is what's lacking. So Intel can use any upgrade that they can get right now to make up for that deficit that they're taking every single year through 2027 as of now.
FRMI, look at that candle for today. AI power. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. It's always hard to tell. Child, get that shoe out of your mouth. All right. Okay. These new stocks, new IPOs. I mean, let's use Figma as an example. A lot of times we'll see a lot of hype with it, and it will basically get rug pulled. It'll get distributed. We'll see a big pop up and come back down. Figma might actually be a buy near these levels, by the way. Now that we've seen the original craziness, right? Circle, same idea. Circle popped like crazy, came back down. Basically what I said, it was going to break down, come back to these lower ends. Back, almost basically back to where you started at. Yeah, EQT, what an, oop.
16,
EQT Yeah, EQ2 is starting to come back. I expect us to break up higher sooner or later. It's showing those accumulation characteristics. It's just taking a little bit longer for it to play out than I expected. But we are at this upper end of the chart, the last points of supply, so I think EQT definitely headed up higher. And it's actually, I would say, a decent entry right now for equity, if anything. Gotta shift this over once it breaks up above that. Golden. Yeah, that looks strong. BRK. Stock. Similar thing. Yeah. Accumulation. Came back, retested. Definitely can head up higher from there. ESG. I don't know what exchange this one's on, though. Is that right? ESG?
I think so.
I don't see it on here. All right. Reminder, guys, help us out. Hit that like button on the YouTube channel, that thumbs up. Trying to get us to get over 20 likes during the stream. Last time, I think we hit 14. I see 23 of you guys watching, so if every single one of you hits that like button for us, we made new all-time highs for our thumbs up chart. You know, Max and I jump on here every Wednesday. We're gonna keep these going on. Yeah, PCG. Yeah, that's Procter and Gamble, right? Or Pacific, not. Yeah, Pacific Gas. That's PG&E. That's what I meant. Yeah, look at that chart that we had on it. We got out on this chart on one of the big pops already. Made money off it. I think it's still got room to go up higher too in time. Man,
long-term contracts are the best.
all I had to do was hand my child a napkin. He's having the time of his life ripping it up. All right. Again, we do this every Wednesday on YouTube. If you are in STAX or in our Discord, we're basically been streaming every single day. I even did a live stream earlier today before we jumped onto YouTube just to go over what the people in the Discord wanted to ask. We generally go live in about the last hour before market close, so you know, noon to 1, depending on earnings. If there's anything, we'll stay on for a little bit longer. But if you're not, yeah.
I was gonna say, now that I'm not sick, I am back to the daily market streams. It's not gonna all necessarily just be stacks flow. You guys can come in there, drop tickers. We got some cool moderators from different communities we do work with that hang out with us too. So we're starting to do that as well on a more consistent basis. And I would say this week so far, we've been pretty successful. I think we've given out like almost 500% in gains already in the last like 2 days.
Yeah. If you're not already part of our Discord or in STAX, there is a code for you guys to use, closing bell 20 for the STAX membership. If you want to join our Discord, that one would be ICC20 or ICC10. Sorry, ICC10 will get you 10% off our Discord membership. You know, we're handing these plays out on the daily. We're just here watching what STAX has to say. But Max and I have trained ourselves to see what really stands out, the higher probability type of trades for you guys to get in. For example, mRNA. We've had Intel. We've been in Intel. We catch a lot of these plays before the news hits. You know, there's always people in STAX that kind of help us, you know, gauge what is about to happen. Do I have tutorials on how to use STAX? Make sure you hit subscribe for our Investor Central Club YouTube here. There are a couple of playlists that we've put together. There's a how to use STAX playlist. There's backtesting playlists. If you are in our STAX software, as well, you can always jump in here. Let me show you real quick. In our STAX software on the bottom right corner, you guys can see there is Discord channels, and you can come in here. You can ask us in STAX support, message us, etc. If you have additional questions. But for those that are not part of STAX just yet, I would just say you can go into our YouTube here, and there are plenty of videos on how you can use our software. Not only in introductions, but also back testing videos on our STAX AI and things like that. Stay tuned. I will have our STAX AI backtesting for last month done pretty soon. Obviously, got the baby to deal with, but when I have the time, I'm gonna get that all put together. We had quite a bit come in this last month, if you may see, right? Oh my God, from last month, let's see. From the Google print down here, I got basically 2 whole pages of these to go through for you guys. So stay tuned. I'm expecting to see some pretty awesome returns. I already know a few of them have popped pretty well for us too. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Remember, hit that like button for us. We'll see you guys next week in this live stream. But if you guys are in our Discord and in our STAX, we'll see you probably tomorrow for our Thursday STAX flow stream right in our Discord. All right, I think we had a pretty solid one day. We entered something as well. We're still monitoring a couple other ones. So hope you guys enjoyed this today. We will see you guys next one.